Hey everybody, I'm back with another Transformers review, and it's actually going to be something different because I got something new in the mail today. Yep, it's not Generations Combiner Wars Brawl. We're still in the Generations line. In fact, I guess that we're kind of giving it a send-off now. Because apparently the War for Cybertron trilogy is going to be like the last major stand of the Transformers Generations line, which I've been trucking solid since 2010. So yeah. So, I mean, I already had a Siege Optimus Voyager class, though I did kit bash him to be more Earth-esque, and I got Cheetor from the Kingdom line. But I never got anything from Earthrise. Like, the one figure I really wanted from Earthrise was Thundercracker. And so, of course, bad luck for me because I'm a Dutchman. And, hey, he was only sold exclusively in a 2-pack with Skywarp at Target stores in the United States. Yay! So I never got the chance to get myself an Earthrise Thundercracker, which is terrible. So I'll have to settle in for this guy that we're already comparing to the busted up Bumblebee. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Trailbreaker, the obligatory redeco and retooling of Hoist, who was released in Wave 1. The only Earthrise figures we had in my local toy store were the Wave 1 Earthrise Deluxes, and I didn't buy any of them because, needless to say, Hoist was the only one that had any kind of chance, but I didn't bother with him because I still felt he's not really for me. I couldn't be bothered with Ironworks because I'm not really into parts forming. I couldn't be bothered with Wheeljack because I already had the Prime version of him, and I really couldn't be bothered with Cliffjumper because I already had Prime Cliffjumper, technically twice. Like, here's the first edition one, which, yes, the head was broken, so a friend of mine, 3D designer, printed a new head for me. And this is my Prid Cliffjumper that's been kit bashed and customized into a TF Prime version of Windcharger. And you know, Earthrise Cliffjumper is kind of by default one of the most controversial and, in my opinion, worst deluxes of the entire War for Cybertron trilogy. Simply because he is too small. And his chest is formed incorrectly. Like, yes, he uses the roof and windshield of the car, but the windshield should be covering the abs and pointing down, like on this guy. But no, it's permanently stuck, covering his pecs, pointing up, which I hate. Like, never mind, saying, oh, he's worth it because he's supposed to be small, given his G1 Minibot heritage, or, oh, he still feels like a deluxe because of the kind of complicated transformation. No, he's too small, and we know it. Trailbreaker, then. Jeez, I went off on a bit of a rant. But yeah, he's actually pretty good. Kind of the Hoist mold was kind of like the tall drink of water, basically, in terms of the Wave 1 Earthrise Deluxes. So yeah, and Trailbreaker's he's a good redeco and retooling. A little bit mismatched in terms of deco, but there's definitely like flat black paint here on the nose of the truck and around the cab. We can take his gun off the roof, so there we go, more civilian-esque. So now he's a little camper truck, which I believe is supposed to be a Toyota Hilux, or this is particularly like a somewhat more modernized take on a Toyota Hilux of the 1980s, I believe. So yeah, maybe 1970s even. I'm not that huge of a petrol head, so yeah. But yeah, he rolls along well, decent size, I guess. Got a good amount of paint too. I mean, they did bother to give him some red for his tail lights on both sides, and some red, orange, and yellow striping. Even a little bit of silver pinstriping, and look at this, a little 4WD decal right in front of the doors on both sides. You know, for 4-wheel drive. That's kind of cool. But yeah, a lot of the black here, like the actual black, is paint as well. You may notice that the black plastic is more like a kind of like a slick, dark, oily brown. So yeah, you could say that you're getting very vague Unicron Trilogy feels here because it's not quite full on black. So yeah, but whatever. Transformation. Oh, you're gonna start by actually, I think we can start by trying to pull the arms out from underneath the nose a little. There we go. So yeah, now we can pull the nose of the truck up. Oh wait, I see the arms are kind of tabbed in. Hold on. I'm just... Okay, there we go. Now they're loose. So yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, the entire nose is made of translucent blue plastic, so that's gonna be scary. Because I have plans for this guy. So yeah. But even then, it's still scary, even if you're not going to customize him. Oh yeah, of course, big red Autobot symbol with white outlining. Classic. But yeah, there we go. Now, the next thing you want to do, I believe, is try to take the sides here, basically the whole rear fenders, so like the doors and the sides of the bed, and try moving it up on these hinges within the completely black side windows. That's one weird caveat with this guy in terms of deco. He doesn't have any side windows, yet he has a pretty nice translucent blue windshield like we saw. And rest assured, we'll see that again in robot mode. If I can actually get there. Okay, there we go. That's the left arm. And there goes. Oh, come on. Don't get stuck on me. There we go. There's the right arm. Whew. Okay. Now, carefully detab the legs, like the lower legs from what remains of the rear of the truck. They're like little slots that the knees plug into. Okay. Now we can drop this waist section down. I believe we can already fold the nose of the truck down to form the iconic, there we go, the iconic beer belly. Sorry if you didn't get to see that. Let me just repeat those steps here for you. So, waist down, and maybe keep it up a little bit as you fold the nose down like this. Because there's just enough clearance for this to work. That's cool. So yeah. Then we rotate the lower legs down at these secondary knee hinges in the red plastic. There we go. Rotate this arm kibble here. Let me actually just raise the tripod, or at least rotate the camera up. Okay, so now we rotate these fender pieces down. Bring the arms down on the shoulder hinges while also rotating them like this to get them facing forward. And with Trailbreaker, it's a little different from Hoist, but not much. But you pull back on the canopy section and you pull it back and raise it up on this double hinge. This in turn will allow you to take this middle piece of the roof, kind of push it down, and use a little bit of leverage to get his head out. It is supposed to snap into place, so, but that is a little scary. But I guess, you know, push a little on either end, like this. Ooh, come on. Come on. Oh, there we go. Ooh, I definitely gotta fix that. And then we can continue folding the canopy section up like this, and and this big tab will plug into this slot right here above my thumb. So get that aligned like that, and you should be golden. Like here we have Trailbreaker in his basic robot mode, I guess. I say basic because there are a few extra touches to do, but for now I just want to look at the robot mode as is. So like this. Size-wise, here is Bumblebee, and he's actually a pretty big deluxe. So this is why I actually think that the Trailbreaker mold was kind of the best, or rather the hoist mold was already like the best of the Wave 1 Earthrise Deluxes. He's the biggest deluxe. So much so that he's actually almost as big as older Voyager class figures from Transformers Prime, which is why I have this version of Bumblebee here. So yeah. Besides, he's my basic robot mode size comparison figure. Just like how this broken copy of him is my standard vehicle mode size comparison figure. It saves a lot of time transforming this guy. I mean, it means that I save a lot of time that is otherwise, spent on transforming this guy back and forth all the time. But yeah, Trailbreaker. He's looking good in robot mode. Head, very blocky, but I think it's actually the same kind of, I want to say brownish black basically. He does have nice blue paint on the visor though. I think I can see a couple of very light scratches in there, so but whatever. But overall, he feels good. Like, yeah, the proportions are a bit weird, and these rear fenders of the truck hanging off the back of his arms like capes is a bit annoying. There are multiple ways to fix this. I think that I'm going to go with the lazy eyebrows fix, which is strategically cutting these fenders off in some places, like at a particular place, and then just gluing them onto the side of the lower leg. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's, there's the basic robot mode for you. Articulation. Head is on a ball joint. You get a good amount of downward motion. Not a whole lot of up. A little bit of tilt. That's good. Naturally, you can rotate, because, yeah. The thing is with... it does kind of click here. Whatever. Now, the thing about the War for Cybertron trilogy and the Generations line is that it kind of introduced like a new joint system with standardized articulation. So basically that... I did already kind of discuss this with Cheetor from the Kingdom toy line. But yeah, basically that ball joint in the head is more or less the only ball joint you would find for articulation in robot mode. Everything else is now on a swivel and a hinge. So the shoulders, they rotate forwards and backwards on a swivel, and they move outwards at a hinge. This is the case here as well. In fact, quite obviously. It may look a little strange in certain angles, but yeah. Like, this is a light issue, but it is fixable somewhat, so yeah. We have bicep swivels right below there, and very good single curl elbows, and wrist articulation, so the hands can rotate. Basically, like that's almost like a bonus point of articulation in the old days, but now it's far more common, so it's more standardized. You have waist rotation as well. So there's that, and it's very clever. It's very cool how they managed to do this, because, he's very square, so you wouldn't expect a waist swivel, but they still implemented one, which is cool. Then there's the legs, starting with the hips. Yeah, like the shoulders, there are no more ball joints in the hips, but instead, basically the hips operate kind of like shoulder pads. So this black section, it's kind of like a little bit of armored skirting. Granted, there's a little bit of clickety here, but I think that's because of some plastic... Oh, wait. I see. That little top area is kind of catching on the ledge of the bumper of the truck. But, yeah. But needless to say, the legs can swing forwards and backwards, and the legs can also... on a swivel, and they can swing outwards. In fact, you can literally see the mushroom peg right there for the forward and backwards swivel joint. So yeah, you have a thigh swivel below there, though this one is a bit stiff. But yeah, thigh swivel, and a knee that bends just over 90 degrees. You can also use the second knee hinge here for the transformation. But yeah. And another more standardized point of articulation nowadays is a sideways hinge known as a tilt or a pivot in the ankles. So that way you can have the feet remain flat to the ground while he's in a more dramatic or white-legged pose. Like this. So yeah, there's that. And of course, we can also add some stuff to him. There's this gun for Trailbreaker, which I believe goes into his right hand or his left. I can't remember that well. But needless to say, it goes over his hand so far that, you know, it looks like it replaced the hand. And in keeping with Trailbreaker, what you can also do is you can open up the canopy section, fold out this little black shoulder gun, and this little gray array of roof lights, I believe, which I believe is supposed to be his famous force field generator. So yeah. Anyway, that's Trailbreaker for you. He's a good figure, and I'm actually very happy that I was able to buy him second-hand, though still mint in box, for a very reasonable price. Overall score, he gets a good 8 out of 10. There are a few minor issues here and there, like especially those capes. As my camera stops focusing on him, maybe I have to move him closer. Come on, focus, 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 focus. There we go. But yeah, like I said, Trailbreaker. Oh, come on. There we go. Maybe it'll, yeah, maybe that'll help. Trailbreaker gets a solid 8 out of 10. So yeah, he's definitely recommended, even if you just want to keep him as himself. Though, granted, I specifically bought him to try and customize him. But you'll get to see that hopefully sometime soon. In the meantime, maybe I should show you guys what happened to Sentinel. See you next time.